Brought to you by Underdog. Underdog is hooking up new customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus bets when you sign up with code GOLFSGPN. Also, download the SGPN app in your app store for free access to all of SGPN's picks and podcasts. Brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. Their prop builder is second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Easy deposit, lightning fast payouts using crypto. So mybookie.ag, promo code GOLFSGPN for 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's mybookie.ag, promo code GOLFSGPN. Finally, we're brought to you by NoVig. NoVig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Since they're an exchange, you know they have some of the best prices on the market, available in 35 plus states. So download the NoVig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with NoVig, promo code SGPN. We're live. We have some golf to talk about. Had the Ryder Cup last week, so that's where we'll start. I know you weren't tuned into all 72 hours of the Ryder Cup, but give me your thoughts on some of the decisions, the way it ended, and just the weekend of golf as a whole.
I obviously kind of tracked the matchups the first couple days and saw that Europe was obviously running away with it. I did tune in pretty heavily on Sunday towards the end. Pretty much when Justin Thomas made his putt, I was watching live and stayed tuned in the whole time because I thought there was a legit chance that they were going to come back. Everything was kind of looking good outside of Ludwig beating up on Pat. Everyone else was either tied or winning. So it looked like there was a real possibility that the USA would win. Heading into Sunday, the odds weren't good enough to even give that a chance. I think I saw like a 18 or 20 to 1.
That's all it was? Yeah, I was going to ask. Yeah. It's not worth it.
And Europe was like minus 20,000 or whatever it was. But either way, if I would have got like a 50 to 1, maybe. But it's just like, that is not 18 to 1. Like they would have had to win what? 10?
Nearly every match, and we didn't know. And then also the Victor stuff made it a lot more difficult, which is the dumbest rule maybe ever.
Yeah.
But that is just, I mean, I don't think anyone would disagree with that, no matter what side that happens. If you withdraw, there's no way it's a tie. I understand. I get why. I don't understand.
I don't either.
It's the dumbest thing ever. It's the dumbest rule ever. But I got absolutely flamed on Twitter for tweeting about it. The Euros were mad, but they thought I was like trying to be like a dirty American. Like, no, if it was the other way around, I would have been like, this is stupid. So
100%. If you can't play, you don't gain anything. You're the one that backed out. He took 18 holes away from a guy in the U.S. who had a legit chance. I mean, there's no reason to just award them a half of a point. I mean, if that's the case, all 12 could have said they had an injury. Who would have stopped them?
Well, I did find out that that's only for the first match. After if a second guy would have withdrawn, it would have been a USA point. So it's a one match rule, but still, like, it could have came down to one match, and that was slated to be the last match. It was supposed to be Victor versus Harris. So if that's still on the golf course, adds more pressure for the Euros. Who knows what could have happened, truthfully. So it was a great Sunday. It was probably the best Ryder Cup Sunday you've ever watched, because you've not been a big Ryder Cup watcher. The only. So that was a great watch on my end. I was dialed. We had it on I have a nice TV setup. We had it in the top right TV with no volume. We were like, all right, big TV, volume on. We got to dial into this. We were getting up. We were getting hyped. So it was a fun Sunday sweat, I will say.
Henley could have made it a much better sweat. On 17 I don't even care what happened on 18. I almost throw 18 out the window. What happened on 17, he should have ended him there. Like where Shane had the putt from, you have to make that putt to not go to 18, and he forced it to go to 18. And I mean, after their tee shots on 17, I didn't think Shane stood a chance.
Right. I mean, that was truly like what Russ did, that second shot on 18. He put it to 9 feet, and then Shane hit it inside of him. Like, you can't leave it short on the line. If you're gonna miss it, you got to blast it through 25 feet and give him no read. But I mean, tough scene from Russ. He's gonna get a lot of backlash. He played great on Sunday. He didn't play great Saturday or Friday, but I don't know. I thought everyone gave a great effort except for Pat. Like Ludwig didn't play. Ludwig didn't play great, and Pat just kind of did
No.
nothing on Sunday to give us that chance. Everyone else was there. Everyone else did what they had to do. Shout out Cam Young, though. I know we both were high on Cam Young. We put him in that DFS lineup, and we thought great things of him going into the week, and he proved to continue that hot form that he showed in the summer.
My season long, I texted one of my friends who has Cam at a pretty good price. I was like, well, your keeper's locked in for next year because Cam Young is back to Cam Young.
Yeah, that was. Oh, I wouldn't say back to. I think he's a new level of Cam Young.
A new level? Yeah, he is. He upped a level.
He upped a major level.
Speaking of next year and looking forward, what do we do with Pat heading into 2026? Like, what are realistic expectations?
I was in the camp I said at the beginning of last year, I believe, that I'm not sure, like, the Cantlays, Justin Thomases of the world, like, win again. Unless it's like a big event. Like, I can see one of them breaking through in like a major. And obviously I was proven wrong with Justin Thomas winning the RBC Heritage. But like, I don't know how much they care. I really don't know how much they care. Truthfully. Like, they're making so much money. They're the face of the tour, and there's so much young talent that they know how much they have to grind, and the golf is such a fickle game. Pat has lost his putter for like the last 13 months. I don't know. And he's always at unbettable numbers. Like, there's no reason for him to be in the 20s or 20-1 range. He hasn't won in ages. Same with Colin Morikawa. But we have to talk about Colin Morikawa too, because it was a disappointing week from Colin. He ended up, I believe, tying Tyrrell Hatton on Sunday, but he just was bad. He was the last guy on the team and looked like the last guy on the team.
Yeah, and that was one of my bets I gave out on the show last week. Morikawa under 1.5, and I was a little hesitant just because you never know what you're going to get with Colin, but I thought it was kind of a layup. I bet it. I didn't bet that much on it because I wasn't like over the top about it, and I kind of mentioned on the show like I could see myself getting burned on this, but
he finished with a half, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, great call there. I believe he only played 3 matches, maybe even 2. No, 3 matches. I think 2 losses and a tie. So, yeah, not great from Colin, but we kind of expected that going in. So, great call on that. Anything else you want to talk about on the Ryder Cup? Any other closing thoughts before we head into Sanderson?
Nothing specific, really. No, I think I pretty much got everything out there. Yeah.
All right. Before we get into the Sanderson Farms, talk to me about the football that went on in Ireland. Talk to me about your Vikings. It was the way I could sum it up from the short amount I watched was my best friend's a Steelers fan. I said this was almost the most Steelers loss of all time, and then it was the most Steelers win of all time. They won that with, I believe they had a few turnovers, a few key ones, and then they almost blew it away late with a fourth quarter field goal. So talk to me about the game. Carson Wentz.
Pretty ugly again. I didn't love what he did against the Bengals when they won 48-6, and I think we saw some of that again this week. I don't know if it's a coaching thing or what, but it just seems like this offense isn't clicking. For the amount of weapons they have, they don't run like your typical NFL offense. I don't care if it's Carson Wentz. I mean, we've seen Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullins, Sam Darnold all have success in this system. So something else is going on. I've been saying since O'Connell's first year, and I'm not calling for him to get fired by any means, but I've been saying since his very first year when they won all those one-score games that he has to hand over play calling. I don't think he can do it all at once. He needs somebody else to call the plays. He can still have an influence on it, but he has to be a game manager. He has to be locked into the game as a whole. I think it kind of gets away from him when he is calling the plays. Not that he's a bad play caller. I just think him and the OC, Wes Phillips, should be on the same page enough to the point where he trusts him to call the entire game. So another game where kind of like the Bears, there was no pulse until the fourth quarter, and then they started scoring some touchdowns, throwing the ball downfield. Mike Tomlin giving the Vikings the ball back towards the end there, not going for it on 4th and 1 to end the game was shocking. I was very excited to get another crack at it, and they just didn't pull through. So heading into next week, heading into the rest of the season, I've never been lower. In the last couple of years, I have never been lower.
What are we, 2-2 now or 1-3?
2-2. Injuries are starting to pile up to the point where you can't really fill in that much. I mean, 3 offensive linemen who started the year, quote unquote, started the year as starters won't be in.
Yeah, that's
Ryan
tough.
Kelly's concussion might have been it for him. I don't know how much
What's
he's
the
got left.
JJ deal? How long is he out for? Is he?
JJ, they are really not saying anything. I don't know what's going on. I would assume, obviously, he's out this week. They have a bye next week, travel back.
Good.
I would assume
Did
he comes
Carson
back
look better?
the week after. Huh?
Did Carson look like better than JJ, or did JJ
I don't
has to
think
look better?
so.
You don't think so?
Almost interchangeable. It's a
Yeah.
scheme thing at this point, I think. But
Okay.
obviously, I want JJ to get the reps if he's able to.
All right. Well, that's your weekly golf gambling podcast Vikings update as we will go on the rest of the fall. Let's get into what we came here for, the Sanderson Farms Championship. Few key names in this field: Akshay Bhatia, Minwoo Lee, Michael Thorbjornsen, Davis Thompson, Kevin Yu, and Rasmus Højgaard are the names from 20 to 25. Some of the bigger names in the field. This is a fun field, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We've seen this event go down to the wire. If you wanted Sunday sweat, tune in. Who do you like from the top of the board? What's your thoughts on the golf course? What's your thoughts on this fall event?
So thoughts on the CC of Jackson, longer par 72, obviously one of the easier tracks that we see all year. Being in the fall swing helps, obviously, but looking at some of the past winners, like I looked at Kevin Yu's lead-in form last year. He was horrible.
Yeah,
Like,
he just started striping and made some putts.
Beat red across the board. He was gaining strokes nowhere for like a month, and then just came here, shot 23 under, and won the Sanderson Farms. But that kind of gives me a little more freedom to not go too much based off of form, especially in the fall. We see crazy things happen. I love the fall swing. And before we do get into this odds board, FedEx Cup fall now, only freeing up 50 spots is going to be a bloodbath. Like, this is going to be intense.
These guys are playing for a lot. This is as competitive of golf as we're going to see. It might not be the biggest names in the world, but this is going to be some competitive golf because they're cutting down these fields fields and card lists every single year. It's crazy. So these guys know. That's why Rasmus is back here. Like, guys know they need to play some good golf these next few weeks before we get into 2026.
Yeah, and it used to be 125 for as long as I can remember, where top 125 get their cards for the next year. Now it's top 100. So you're chopping off 25. I mean, I always thought 125 was a little thin because there were some pretty good conditional. One that stands out, I remember Corey Connors when he missed it. I think after his second year, he got his first PGA Tour win on conditional status. So it's like one bad year of form or a couple bad months can rip your card out of your hands, and then you're back to square one. You're either going to Korn Ferry, you're trying to get through Q school. I mean, there's only so many options. So you look at like 90 to 110, 120, there's going to be some pretty good golfers with some upside that just don't get their card if they don't show up in the next month, really.
And guys can have a rough stretch of golf. Even the best golfers in the world have a rough stretch. Scotty got off to a bad start 2026. Like, shit happens. So these guys have to be dialed. Top of the odds board, in my opinion, no one really catches my eye in terms of guy that I want to click. If I have to pick one guy to maybe win this top 6, I'm going to go with Minwoo Lee. I like what I saw from Minwoo Lee at the French Open, and for some reason, this man plays well on outside of Houston, where you could really drive it anywhere. Think to those Florida swing events, like Honda Classic, TPC Sawgrass, golf course where you have to drive it straight and give yourself a ton of wedge looks. He plays well on it, and that you don't have to necessarily do that here. But if you are doing that, you're going to get a ton of wedge looks. And Minwoo Lee showed that form in France, which is not the tightest golf course in the world, but a tighter golf course. You have to hit your spots. So I just like Minwoo Lee that he got those extra reps. He played well opposed to some of these other guys who are getting their first start in X amount of weeks. So I'm going to go with Minwoo Lee at the top as my starter in some lineups. And potentially, if I have to pull the trigger up here on a golfer, it would be him at 22 to 25 to 1.
Yeah, I like that. And personally, I'm very torn. I mean, these top 5 guys are 5 of the guys I really enjoy betting on. they're not horrible numbers when you
No.
consider it. I mean, they are the class of the field. I think these guys do stand out as being overall the better golfers that we see. I think I would go to the very top with Akshay if I had to, gun to my head, bet one of these. All the pressure's off. Ryder Cup's behind him. Heading into the year, had a very good path of getting on the team, I would say. And
he should have some motivation too. Like, I like that take.
Yeah, kind of fell short of expectations. Obviously, got to sit back and watch, but got a couple years until the next one. So essentially, one of the better players in the field. Like I said, these top five. He's made 8 straight cuts. With draw at the Wyndham, right in the middle of those 8 made cuts. But top 26 or better in his last 4. Liked what I saw at the Procore a couple weeks ago. T11. 5th in putting, and he gained over 6 strokes on approach. So Akshay at 20 is definitely worth a look. Not sure I'll get there maybe in a matchup, but I think 20 is decent. And then Davis Thompson, 22-1. I don't think I can get there on an outright.
We were so high on him to close that 25 season, and then he didn't win, but he played decent golf. So
he cashed me a decent top 30 at the Procore. I threw a decent chunk on there. I got a pretty good number. So I like that. But really the 22-1 is just a FOMO thing. I hate the number. But
yeah,
if I did have to make a bet and I had to click between Akshay and Davis Thompson, I don't like Davis Thompson better, but I think I would have to click him.
All right, let me ask you a different question, kind of a little off topic.
Yeah.
Akshay Bhatia, Minwoo Lee, Michael Thorbjornsen. Sorry, not Minwoo Lee. Akshay Bhatia, Michael Thorbjornsen, Davis Thompson, Max Homa, Luke Clanton, Jacob Bridgman. That's 5 or 6 names. How many of those guys are on the Ryder Cup team 2027? Over under 2.5. Over under 2.5. Akshay, Thorbs, Davis, Homa, Clanton, Bridgman. That's 6. Over under 2.5.
I think it's 2.
Okay.
So I would think I would go under.
Okay.
Just because I'm slowly losing faith in Clanton. I love Bridgman. I don't know if he can. I don't want to say that. Never mind.
Bridgman made the Tour Championship.
I know. I was just gonna say I don't know if he can get there in 2 years, but I do think he can. So I'm not even gonna say that.
How many of these golfers made the Tour Championship in the field? It could be. I think it won. It could just be Bridgman. He was at Eastlake. It could just be Bridgman. Yeah. So I mean, I guess that's a good transition into this next range. We'll go 30-40. Bridgman is at that 40-1 range on DraftKings. Then we got Nikolai, Posty, Rico, Grillo, Smalley, Homa, Wallace Hughes, Clanton, Keith Mitchell, Bridgman, Garrick Higo, Cam Champ, and Sam Stevens. Bigger range. 2 to 3 guys in this range that you want to give an eye on. You want to start with Bridgman. Do you like him this week or you like someone else?
Someone else. And just to backtrack, Akshay was in the Tour Championship.
Akshay. Okay. Akshay and
so
Bridge.
Them two. So, which shocked me. I remember looking and I was like, well, I'm really surprised that he was there. But this next tier, Matt Wallace catches my eye a little bit.
Ryder Cup snub?
Yes. I
think mattered, but
I don't know. If I had to go anywhere, it would be Wallace. I don't know from an outright perspective, but 45 seems like a pretty good number there.
I like in this range. I like Clanton. I know you're out on Clanton, but I posted a video about him earlier today. He hit the ball well all year. He just could not make a putt. And the putter was not just bad, it was really bad. But we're getting him back on the Southeast. He's from Florida. He went to Florida State. His best surface has proven to be Bermuda. So I want Clanton to just swing freely. He's been hitting the ball fine. He's going to drive it long and straight. And then hopefully make some putts because we've seen him play well in these birdie fests when he got his card, especially on Bermuda. So I think it's a fine number. And like I say with you, buy these young gun stock because they're going to pop at random when they pop. And I think 40 is a great number on a high ceiling golfer in Luke Clanton, as well as Jacob Bridgman too. So I'll give my case for him. He had a really decent ball striking season in 2025. Like he upped that level big time from the year before. And one thing about Jacob Bridgman, he's a true man of Bermuda. The dude plays so well on these Bermuda golf courses, loves the surfaces. He's from South Carolina, so he's used to these types of golf courses. And I think 40-1 is a decent number. We've seen him get in the mix a few times. We've seen him take it really low. And like I said, confidence. He made the tour championship. He should be like, I'm better than all these guys. Let's go out and win a golf tournament. So Bridgman and who did I say? Bridgman and Clanton are my guys in this 30 to 40 range.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, Bridgman, I feel like, is a pretty good value considering what he was able to do towards the end of the year. And just back to Matt Wallace, I mean, European Masters, he was T2, 3M Open, he was T3, top 25 in 2 of the 3 majors he played in, made the cut in all 3 of them. So I think 45 to 1 is a decent
I like
look.
that.
Yeah,
he's not scared to get in the mix. Especially in these types of events, Matt Wallace is like a birdie man.
yes.
Let's go down to 50 and below. Nick Norgard's a bomber. I'll just lift off some names. Jesper Svensson, driver putter. Taylor Moore, Red State. Doug Gim had a decent end of the season. Ben Ons played really well here before. Patrick Fishburne has been striping it. Steven Yeager's back in the mix. Sammy Valamaki's a popular Birdie Fest guy. Anyone here, you can go from like 50 to 80. Anyone in that range, check your eye.
50 to 80, I honestly have to go down to 80.
Okay.
I think I'm going to bet Pearson Coody at 80 to 1.
Yeah.
Another guy who the form has dropped off, especially on the Corn Ferry Tour. His last 3 events were T27, T61 missed cut. So it's not what we were seeing a couple months ago. 109th ranked in the world, but like I said, he's one of these younger guys who I have a lot of confidence in. I think we're getting a pretty good price. He got inflated for a little while there, and I don't even think it was that bad. I just still have hope that Pearson Coody is one day going to live up to what he was supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I like Lee Hodges around 75 to 1. Lee Hodges went to Alabama, I believe, so he's from this area of the country. And he had a great start to 2025, then he got hurt. And I was so impressed when I saw Lee Hodges on site back early in the year. I was like, dude, this guy's nuking off the tee. He's gained a ton of speed. And he was backing that up. He was a top 10 machine out the gates in 2025. And I think he's kind of figured it out after that injury. The time off, I believe, should help him. So, yeah, Lee Hodges around 75 to 1 probably can get a better number 2. I think it's a good setup for him here in Jackson.
You can get a 90.
Yeah, I think that is a
He's
great
on my
look.
list. He's on my list. Like you said, I mean, irons have been really consistent as well. I kind of looked to see how low he can actually get. His win at the 3M, 24 under.
He got low, yeah.
Since then, he hasn't really showed it. But I like him as a placement bet. I might sprinkle the each way. I mean, he's made 4 of 4 cuts here at the Sanderson. Not going to go into the results because they're not great, but he's mixing. He's making the cut. He's playing the weekend. So I think he can get kind of back into form here and have a strong fall. He is currently ranked 108. Talk about a guy who needs it. Needs to have an October 2025.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there. I got another guy. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say he won so he might have 1 year left.
Of the exemptions. Yeah, he won in 24.
24?
Yeah. All right, so one more guy I like here in this range, Ricky Castillo, Ricky Pooks. He went to Florida. He is from Brazil, I believe. Nonetheless, went to Florida, used to the Bermuda, used to these surfaces, and he had a really solid ball striking season in spots. He flashed. I thought he was more of a short game guy when he got his PGA Tour card, but he proved to be a nice driver, flash with the irons here and there, and then he can definitely get hot on the greens. He played well at Innisbrook, I believe, played well at Torrey Pines. So I'm down for, not that Torrey Pines is a good comp, but it's a ball strikers golf course. You got hit well there. So I like Ricky Castillo, 65, 70 to 1, wherever you can get. Anyone else you like before we open it up to 100 plus?
I got one more at 90. Antoine Rosner.
Cut maker.
Big time cut maker. He talk about France, the FedEx Open over there. He was T12, cut maker, a guy who makes birdies quite a bit. Putter has been very bad, at least on the PGA Tour. His measured rounds were terrible, but he's shown flashes where he can gain with the putter. So
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not all that concerned about it. I think 90-1's pretty good. He was one of my favorite DP World Tour guys who got his PGA Tour card, and currently 151. So he has a bunch of work to do.
I got two guys 101 and above. I'll start with Max McGreevy. Something you don't argue is Max McGreevy on Bermuda. I do not believe the form is very good right now. In fact, it's not very good, the ball striking form right now. But when he gets to these Bermuda golf courses, he simply figures it out. I don't know why, but he will treat you well when it gets into the Southeast. So I'm down for Max McGreevy. And then finally, Jackson Suber, 170, 200-1. He had some great flashes in the early parts of 2025. He also went to Ole Miss, so he should be very comfortable in the state of Mississippi. So I think Jackson Suber has a high ceiling and can get into the mix, especially on an easy golf course.
I got one guy in the hundreds. Joseph Bramlett is in on a sponsor exemption. So literally, I think he was William Mao backed out and Bramlett got in. That's the only withdraw this week that I saw, at least. But made 3 straight cuts, improving slowly each week. He's had a better finish, but I'm mainly honing in on the Procore T26, and he was 3rd from tee to green, 4th in ball striking, 5th in approach. He's made 4 straight cuts at the Sanderson. Historically not putted too well here, but if he can turn the putter around at all, I think Joseph Bramlett at 100-1 is a pretty good bet, and he will be one of my placements that I throw in here.
All right, so that'll be one of your placements. Let's do 2 placements, 2 outrights, and 2 matchups then. So there's one of your placements. I will go with another placement. I will go with Michael Lasasso, top 20. Talk about a guy who also goes to Ole Miss. He and Jackson Suber both are Ole Miss Rebs. Lasasso is still in college, but he is a high ceiling guy. I believe he's the number 1 amateur, right? No. It's Corrigan still. Lasasso should be right after him, I believe. But either way, Lasasso is a high ceiling golfer, hits the ball a mile, and can definitely top 20. He's going to have the crowds behind him, going to be really into this big time. And my second positional is going to be top 20 on Ben Coles, plus 320. Ben Coles is absolutely striping to finish the season.
He is.
And he's very accurate. He's going to hit a ton of fairways, give himself a ton of chances. But the ball striking is second to none in this field, truthfully, with Ben Coles. So they don't just call him Ben Coles BSB for nothing. So I'm down for that. Ben Coles and Michael Lasasso, generation.
Ben Coles, former PGA Tour. Oh, never mind.
Corn Ferry Tour winner.
Remember that one he choked last year? Where was
that?
That
was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Byron Nelson.
2 years ago.
I had Pendrith. I was on the.
So bad.
That was like the only time like that's helped. That was insane.
It was impossible.
Didn't he go into the bunker and then made bogey?
Yeah.
Left it in the bunker, then didn't get up and down.
Speak of a guy who could have his card locked up for one more year, but
Ben Coles.
Sorry, Ben.
You got one more positional.
One more positional. I will take Antoine Rosner as a top 40. We talked about him being a cut maker. Do I think he can win a PGA Tour event? Maybe if everything breaks right, but I'm not going to take him at 90-1. So I'll take Rosner's top 40 at plus 115, and Bramlett's is the exact same. So I got Joseph Bramlett and Antoine Rosner top 40s at plus 115.
All right, give us your 2 outrights.
2 outrights. We are going to start. I'm just going to start with Davis Thompson. I think I actually am going to pull the trigger. 22-1, top 6 each way. I don't think I can handle missing out on a Davis Thompson win.
He's going to win this week.
Not that it would be his first win, but I think we both have very high hopes for him moving forward. He's still
100%.
a lot younger than I think most people would expect. So I'm going to go Davis Thompson at 22-1 on the each way. And then I'm going to stay with another one of my guys and just go with Pearson Coody at 80-1. I'm going to hit him with the each way as well.
All All right, I like that. I'm gonna go with Minwoo Lee. Talked about him at the top of the show. 22-1, 25-1. Obviously, love his ceiling. He knows he can win, and he knows he is the class of this field. And then the second one, I'll go with Max Homa. I didn't mention him. 40-1, 50-1 in some spots. Talk about a guy who has dog and will to win. Max Homa did. He got into the mix of the John Deere Classic, nearly broke through there, and he's kept that ball striking up. And if there's someone who is motivated, it's definitely Max Homa. I thought he was close around that John Deere Classic time, and then after that week, I thought his number would get slashed. It's not slashed yet, so I'm
No.
looking at Max Homa as a good fall guy. And I think there's a good setup for him here in Jackson.
All right.
Matchups. Yeah, you want to start us off? You got one?
I will start it, yeah. Let's go. I will go with Michael Thorbjornsson over Rasmus Højgaard minus 125.
I was going to say the exact same matchup. I
feel like it was a long week for Rasmus.
Didn't play great.
Didn't look great. I'm willing to lay the minus 125. So we will team ride that one.
Wow.
We might have to team ride too. I think Bridgman minus 115 against Higo is.
Oh, I love that. I gotta find that one too.
We're done here.
I'm gonna give out one more, but I love that one. I totally agree with that one. My second matchup is Max Homa minus 115 over Cam Champ.
Yeah.
Out on Cam Champ. He's not a good golfer. He gets streaky, and when Higo and Champ, you don't buy them at their ceiling. You buy them when they're all the way at the bottom. They get popped randomly. So I totally love. I'm gonna find some more matches probably, but those three
Homa could miss the cut and win that matchup
with ease. I'm totally with you there. Yeah. That wraps it up. Any closing thoughts from you, Dom?
FedEx Cup Fall is going to be a lot of fun. I encourage anyone who is watching and tuned into the FedEx Cup Fall, the PGA Tour events over the next month and a half or so, to keep an eye on the projected standings and kind of see where guys are falling, because there's going to be some pretty good guys who don't get their cards. One thing I did have noted that I didn't get to when I was looking at the Procore stats, did you happen to see who was dead last in approach and ball striking?
No, who was that?
Tom Kim.
A true what happened to you moment. Like, he's a lost man. He is a very lost man.
It's currently 99th.
Very sad. Very, very sad. But
this would be what a remarkable October this would be if he can turn things around.
That's just,
I don't know how he's 99th. I genuinely don't know how he's 99th.
That is, yeah. I mean, he's got to figure it out. He's got a new caddy in the bag, so I'm not going to buy anything, but I'm definitely will be monitoring his situation.
Yeah, that's all I got.
That's all you got. Well, Dom, thank you for joining me. Good luck to your Vikings. They're in London this week, I believe.
Yep.
London this week. And we'll see you next week for, I believe, the Bay Current. Who can forget about the Bay Current over in Japan? Of course. So catch you guys next week. And best of luck.